afternoon and namaskar, sabiko. Uh, we are in a powerful panel today, and let me tell you why. On one side, I have uh, a retired IS officer, Mr. Ashok Gupta, and on one side, we have another IS officer sitting. So I am feeling very powerful today. And
Samir,
yes,
you have us also.
ah, let me come to you also. And then on top of it, we are discussing a very vibrant topic today on SHGs and FPOs. And when I go to Anupam and Anagha, they are the two most very strong women professional development leaders. They have done a huge, extensive work on CSR. And if you see together this panel, we have almost 100 years of experience sitting here. So make a good opportunity out of it, and I hope we will do justice to the topic. I will not eat much of the time of the speakers here, and I will straight away set the context in a nutshell. So we are not here to talk big macro. We will talk on a very practical examples on how SHG and FPOs have contributed socially and economically in the development of the rural India. And if you will agree with me, sir, that we have seen that the SHGs movement, right from saving group, then access to microfinance, and then SHGs taking a 360-degree trajectory and turning into federations. Now they are setting up their own business enterprises as well. And similarly with the FPOs, which have recently come as a concept. And government is pushing up on FPOs because I see FPOs as a model of house of cards. I'll tell you why in a bit of time. But Ashok sir, since you have been from the administrative services, पहले तो ये बताइए आपको भौमिक शाह शो पे आके कैसा लग रहा है सर?
No, I think first of all, let me thank Mr. Samir. And at the outset, I would also like to thank CSRBOX for giving me this opportunity. So I am finding that these 2 days have been very good learning experience for me. I never thought that people have been attending these sessions in such large number and with such enthusiasm. So this has been quite a, I think, eye-opener for me that we can host such a big conference on the NGOs, on the donors, on the implementing agencies.
So ma'am, as a protocol, if I have to ask a question, then I'll have to come back to you also. So thank you so much for accepting this invitation at a very short time. So this is your first time in the Bhaumik show?
Bhaumik and me have a great bonding for almost 5 years, more than that now. And I've been connected to CSRBOX. And we've had very good interactions and support system. And I really admire Bhaumik. At such a young age, he has managed so much, he's pulling all this through. And yeah, so it's like a pleasure to see that so many people are working in this space. As a government official, when you really work, so you feel that there should be more people because earlier there was a way in which we were always at the receiving end. And only when organizations work with government, they realize that it is not so easy for themselves also to work. It's a give and take. So I think that change in space which has come, that the system is there and we are all part of that system. So we have to support each other. So I think forums like these are very useful.
Thank you. And I think the stage is set for starting our discussions. So like I promised, we will keep things very simple. So in the larger interest of the audience, so that they can actually grab some points which they can take back and implement while doing their CSR projects or any other community development projects. So in the last session which I attended, I think Mr. Vishal was moderating that session. Very interesting on the leveraging aspects, particularly linking community aspirations with the government schemes. And there was one very interesting topic which was discussed there, that there is an important need to leverage the existing government schemes and then, take it to the last mile beneficiaries. What I understood, since I have been also part of the Dalmia
Yes.
journey, uh, in the current model of yours, Gram Parivartan, how are you planning to scale up the SHGs and FPOs? And what are your plans towards it?
See, I think, uh, let me first of all give you, we have started the Gram Parivartan project. And under Gram Parivartan project, what we are doing, that we have got 19 locations, means 14 cement and 5 sugar. We have identified around 80,000 families in the vicinity of these locations. So we want to work on these families, and our aim is to increase the income of these families by 1 lakh, additional 1 lakh rupees per annum. For that, what we are doing, we are adopting a bottom-up approach. In the sense, we are going to each household, mapping the family in terms of their aptitude, in terms of their assets, in terms of the community assets. And for that, we have prepared a bouquet of plans. These bouquet of plans, they are different for 19 locations, because these are specific to the locations. Government schemes are different everywhere. So the entire model is based on convergence with the government schemes. So we go interact with the family members to find out which are the schemes they can adopt. They have got aptitude. And based on their intervention, based on that interaction, we will draw an intervention plan for each and every household, so that we can raise the income by 1 lakh. In this, we also tell them that one is the aptitude, and second is what is feasible at their level. We are finding that SHGs and FPOs, they are very powerful platform to take the livelihood program forward, because sustainability will not be there if we don't use these platforms. For example, I'll say take the farming. Now in farming, if you see, two-thirds of the people are there in the farming, but they are contributing only 17% of GDP. It means per capita income in farming is very low. Today, farming is not a paying proposition. If we want to make it a paying proposition, we have to remove certain people from the farming and increase the productivity, quality of the produce, and at the same time, we have to work to give remunerative prices for the produce. To wean away certain youth from the farming sector, we have 18 Diksha centers also, where we are training around 5,000 youth per annum. We are not only training them, we are also then giving 100% placement. This way, some people will start moving out of the farming. At the same time, our second prong attack is that we will start increasing the quality, productivity, and remunerative prices for these farmers. And the only way to increase this is to form them in groups, because individually, like we all know, land holding is very fragmented. And as our principal scientific advisor mentioned yesterday, we have to introduce technology also. Very difficult to introduce technology, very difficult to have farm mechanization unless we form FPOs. And once we form FPOs, then they can start getting inputs at lower prices also. They can have their own dealership. They can work on custom hiring and get used to the technology also. And they can also do value addition centers also. Like we have got 8 FPOs. We have promoted 8 FPOs around consisting of 5,000 farmers. We have got seed processing center. We have got value addition centers. And in Kadapa unit, we are now converting one FPO we are converting milk to milk products. So that way we will do value addition also. Similarly, if you take, suppose a woman goes to bank for taking loan, bank is hesitant to give loan. because bank doesn't know that the payment will come back or not. But if the same women, they group together, form SHGs, and they start doing intra-group lending, like giving money and collecting money, and after some maturity, when they get into the groove, they get into the habit, and they get it, they build a good track record, then bank is able to give loan to them. In Dalmia Bharat Foundation, we have promoted 1,500 SHGs consisting of 17,000 farmers, 17,000 women. They have been trained in various domains like mushroom cultivation, tailoring, embroidery, phenyl making, handicrafts also like batik, munj craft, broom making, artificial jewelry making, etc. They are doing very well. And all these FPO, all these SHGs have taken credit up to 2 lakhs from the banks. This shows that bank has shown faith in them, and they want to lend more also. So we are encouraging women to come forward, make the SHGs, we will groom the SHGs, we will train them, and after some time then we will link them with the bank credit. Now, coming to the Gram Parivartan, we have done mapping of 20,000 households out of 80,000, and we have planned 15,000 interventions. Once we are done with all the mapping, then we will decide how many FPOs, how many SHGs have to be formed, but there is no getting away from there, that ultimately we have to use this platform to take our livelihood program forward, and then only it will be sustainable.
First of all, thank you for speaking our language, sir, because now you have come on our side of the table, I mean the corporate side of the table from the administrative side. So, I mean, hearing from you that there is a plan for integrating large FPOs and SHGs in the Gram Parivartan model, I think there is a very tremendous good scope. But I will come back to you on the sustainability aspect and the scalability aspect of it. Anupam, you do a great job because I follow you a lot on LinkedIn as well. I mean, there is one program of Business Sakhi. It's Sakhi word is very close to my heart because we also work on digital Sakhi. So that's what I was correlating it. So just throw some perspective on the challenges which you had, because very important to discuss the challenges first, and then we'll come on to the solutions for raising any business enterprise of Business Sakhis.
Thank you. Thanks, Samir. And thank you for giving me that honor of following up on me on LinkedIn. But appreciate that. Okay, so what brings me here is very quickly is the power that my communities in terms of Sakhi Didis as well as our Samadhan farmers give me for me to be here. And I'm representing not just myself, but them as well as my partners who have made this happen together. So on behalf of all of us, I would be happy to share. Of course, you asked a pinpointed question, challenges. The challenges are, the focus has to be pretty much when it comes to Sakhi model or our Samadhan initiative, it has to be, the power should lie with the people. And we should be as partners, whether that's a corporate or a development sector organization, should be working towards enabling them. The chances are that we lose sight of that most of the times. We try giving them what we think is deemed fit for them. But actually that should not be the case, it should be the other way around. So what we have been doing is with these elements, making institutions out there. But then the challenges probably start, which are probably rudimentary or some things that you could resolve as you go by. They are not permanent. And that becomes the first mindset challenge because you think those are permanent challenges. And those are not, because you need to go in a very planned way of creating those cadres. So one is leadership as a challenge. How do you develop leadership amongst them for them to lead those initiatives and they take their own decisions? Second is to ensure that you have a right structure for them to run those initiatives beyond you as well. And that's where your support and our support comes in as development organizations or CSI entities. And the third is the whole element of when you get into serious productions, because I believe an FPO, SHG, as well as a cooperative is incomplete as long as you give them a solution for them to also earn economic development part of it. They can save, but then how do they create earning capabilities of their own as well? And if you have to do that, then you have to ensure that they are great with whatever service they give or products that they give, their go-to-market approaches. So all of these somewhere down the line become hindrances for the time being, but if you really look into the subject matter, then you are able to resolve some of these things because it's all about collaboration and it's all about working together in that same spirit. So those are few challenges that I would like to answer your question. But
Thanks.
if you allow me to give maybe the next round when you
Yes,
come back
I
to me,
will. I
I'll
will
share
come
how we
back to you.
overcame some of those, yes.
Correct, correct. Ma'am, since you represent the government, a very vibrant organization, a lot of thought of civil society organizations as well as corporate is to partner, not work in isolation, because there is always a doubt of, you will not be able to reach that scale, and because resources are there with the government. So they look into much more partnerships, leveraging, which we call in our development language. So are there any good relevant schemes available with your department which the NGOs or the corporate foundations even can collaborate with you and then they can take it forward? So can you throw some light over it?
I have been fortunate to be working for an organization known as MSRLM, Maharashtra State Rural Livelihoods Mission, and Bhomik and me have worked since then. So when I had joined the organization, there were about 80,000 self-help groups, and when I left the organization, there were more than 5 lakh self-help groups, 50 lakh women associated with it. That is the strength we are talking about. And that is the strength we have to use. When I look at self-help groups, the type of strength they gave me as an individual is much more than what I gave them as an officer. Because the idea of making SHG, the idea of making an FPO or any cooperative, though cooperatives have failed in Maharashtra, because the idea of profit comes into it. When you make a self-help group, the word is self-help. You are there to help yourself, you're there to help other people who are there. And when organizations come to me, like we had a lot of partnerships, Lupin Foundation had come to us, Dhan Foundation was working with us. With due respect, see, when government works, we are having no intention. The ultimate intention is to reach the last person. People may quote, unquote, say whether that 100 rupees reaches last person or doesn't reach the last person is a thing of question many times. But when you invest money in the self-help group, there's a federation, the money is directly going to the group. So when there is a revolving fund given by the MSRLM or NRLM program, today NRLM program has more than 60 crore women associated with it. It's a huge number. And I think people should just, piggyback on that program because their base is very strong. When Madam is talking about Sakhis, business Sakhis, we had more than 18 types of Sakhis. Whether it is Mashu Sakhi, Matsya Sakhi, Madhu Sakhi, Krishi Sakhi, Finance Sakhi, Digital Sakhi, we did that also. Internet Sakhi with Tata and all that. So all these Sakhis, they are, if you see them talking, I would shy myself. They become so strong. And you have to see our MSRLM or NRLM website to see the type of talk they can do. So my request to whoever is here, because what happens, as I was discussing with her also, everyone starts feeling कि मेरी संस्था में, ये मेरी संस्था की बात नहीं है, ये हमारी बात है. और जब हम लोग NRLM की भी बात करते हैं या किसी और संस्था जो NRLM के साथ जुड़ी है, महाराष्ट्र में माविम संस्था है, ये महिलाओं की बात है. तो जब तक आप अपने आप को उनमें समा नहीं लेते हो, आप उनका हिस्सा नहीं बन जाते हो, तो आप मैं तो अभी 3 साल हो गए छोड़ के वहाँ से, पर मैं हर चीज़ में उनको लाना चाहती हूँ. जैसे नाउ आई एम वर्किंग फॉर खादी, आई एम ट्राइंग टू इन्वॉल्व देम इन माई हनी प्रोसेसिंग, इन माई मार्केटिंग, बिकॉज वो इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है और उस स्ट्रेंथ को अगर हम लोगों ने यूज़ नहीं किया तो वो वेस्ट हो जाएगी. तो मेरा यही रिक्वेस्ट है सबसे, मैडम दोनों हैं, दालमिया फाउंडेशन से सर है या अदर फाउंडेशन से हैं और पहले भी मैं सुन रही थी, तो जो एक संस्था बन चुकी गवर्नमेंट जिसके लिए इतना काम कर रहा है, इतना खर्च किया है, एफर्ट्स, टाइम, मनी एंड ट्रेनिंग, सो there's a lot of huge investment. एक सखी के पीछे almost 1 लाख रुपए के ऊपर का खर्च होता है, सरकार से इन्वेस्टमेंट होता है. तो उसको हम लोग ना थोड़ा सा अच्छे से यूज़ करें ना. तो यूपी में तो इतने नंबर्स हैं, महाराष्ट्र में इतने नंबर्स हैं, एमपी में बहुत सारे नंबर्स हैं. तो मेरा तो हमेशा यही रहता है, और मैं भौमिक के साथ भी इसीलिए जुड़ी रहती थी कि मेरे महिलाओं को, मतलब मेरा तो हमेशा रहता है कि मेरी महिलाओं को कौन ले रहा है, क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी है बनी, इतनी स्मार्ट है. आपको उनको सिर्फ ना बस आगे ले जाना है, बाकी तो वो बन गए. तो ये मेरा है कि वही अब कर सके तो अच्छा है.
I mean, very powerful words you have said, ma'am. Thank you so much, because you are associating these women with you directly.
They're connected personally.
So I mean, that's a great thing to do. And I think for NGOs, for corporate foundations, it makes much more sense for doing a collaboration. Yes.
Another thing is people shy.
Yes. Yeah.
The fear in most of the organizations, you know, thoda to dar you will feel, because working in government can be sometimes difficult. There are rules, regulations, but we are not such bad people.
Correct. Anagha, so Ambuja is omnipresent everywhere. If you look at the trajectory of development sector, I mean, Ambuja has done some pioneering work, you know, foundation, particularly in whether you call it SHG, whether you call it FPOs, or for skilling space as well. So there is one struggle which is today also present, where when it comes to FPOs particularly, is about how we make them capable of making their business plans. Because unless and until any enterprise does have a business plan, they don't, I mean, they don't know the pathway to move forward. And then access to credit is one thing. So how your organization is working towards these two things?
Sure. Thanks, Samir. And before I begin, let me say a big thank you to CSRBOX. And all of us have talked about the scale at which this whole event was organized. Let me also add, it's not mere scale. It is the quality of discussions that actually is a big differentiator. So kudos to all of you, the entire team of CSRBOX. Coming to the subject, I feel the whole decade that we have seen last has demanded from us some creative, innovative solutions when it comes to economic empowerment. And these solutions, the difference in these solutions is that community has to be independent irrespective of whether we kind of support them with monetary or non-monetary funds. The whole emphasis is in terms of giving the reins of development process in the hands of the community, and hence it becomes very significant that the SHGs and FPOs are talked about. Just to reiterate my point, let me give you, because I come from field practice, I'll give you two examples, and both are from varied domains and geography. The first one is about 150 kilometers west of Nagpur, a place called Chandrapur, if you're familiar with. We have Ekata Federation, which is Women's Federation out there. In the early 20s, we saw a federation taking shape with the SHGs that we formulated, we promoted, and within a year and a half, we saw it entire thing falling apart. A significant section of this federation came together and worked towards revitalizing the same group to bring it to the level wherein today it's about 4,000 strong women, as Madam was saying. Each one of them bring a set of capabilities. When it comes to the issue of business plan and credit that Samir asked me to address to, I think we understand and accept that making a business plan is a technical capability that as an NGO we do not have. And we have always depended on external support to be able to create that, to facilitate the access between those technical experts and the local women. We realized that the need that came up was about micro enterprises. And there was immense appetite among women to be able to take such small ancillary tasks as part of their regular domain. With respect to the credit and the sources of credit, I would say there are three segments which cater to this entire appetite of about 3,000 women. The first was basically the micro loans that came from the SHGs. The second one was SHG linked bank loans. Madam mentioned about Mavim. Mavim is present and we have always believed in co-creating and collaborating. So Mavim was also part of it. We also had some other corporate foundations coming in. But the third segment, which is very close to my heart, is the revolving fund concept. And it was very interesting. In the year 14-15, there was one corporate who wanted to invest about 10 lakh rupees for sanitation. It would have been far more easier for these local women to take that as grant. But they said, no, we don't want to. We want to run a business with every penny that we get. And the entire amount was used as revolving fund. That was the first instance where they got the confidence of getting 100% repayment. I mean, in the morning, there was a mention by Samhita, Priya from Samhita, and we were part of that COVID times fund. We had 4 series of revolving fund, and with a great pride, it's 100% repayment, which is absolutely unusual scene that we have seen. Amount of activities that took place, it's about 3,000 women made use of 54 lakhs in the span of 6 years. And as of today, the federation has 54 lakhs plus, because every person who took about, the loan size was about 8 to 12,000 rupees. While returning that, they paid a small amount, which was more of an administrative cost for the federation, which ranged from 60 rupees to 120, depending upon the period that they used. I mean, this was a fascinating model, and I think 2 learnings that we as an organization had in this case. The first one is every local organization has its lifespan, and we must respect it. It can take years together to be able to come to a stage when they start taking their own decision, whether empowerment or otherwise. And the second important thing that was a big lesson for us is rural communities, so-called underprivileged, do have an appetite to consume and repay. And that's the most important thing, which actually adds not just to the financial independence, but also self-esteem of the people. Second example I'll quickly touch upon is about the farmer-producer company in the Saurashtra, which is Somnath, which has about 1,800 plus farmers who put together 100 rupees as seed fund. It has taken 10 years, but this is the year, it started in 2013, and this year they had the turnover of 16 crore rupees, taking away all the costs that they incurred, which was 4 crores, 12 crores, about 11 point something, was the profit they earned. Every farmer who had put in 100 rupees got 250 rupees back, which is a very big achievement, but it has taken 10 years. So basically the point from 2 examples that I'm trying to highlight is the respect for the time it takes. It has to be respected by the development organization, because that's the only way, if we speak about empowerment, to be able to take their own pace in the development. So with that, I think the point here is that invariably we look for external support and we undermine the internal resources and capabilities that we have. It's the whole entire ecosystem that we need to look into. Before we actually think of external sources, we also need to think of internal ones. Because one of the significant contribution that the farmer-producer company in Saurashtra had was people gave 45 days of credit on the produce that they submitted to the farmer-producer company. So the intent is to contribute, whether in monetary terms or otherwise, and anything that we do with economic empowerment has to be built on the foundation of people's contribution. With that, I'll take a pause.
Wonderful, Anagha. And I think I must appreciate you being very upfront, because you have clearly indicated that the expertise lies in the mobilization of yours, and when it comes to making business plans, you look out for some external help as well before you look the internal things. So I think people who are sitting in this room who actually have an expertise of making business plans, you have Anagha now and various other partners, because I also believe it's a specialized job and should be done by specialized people. Thank you, Anagha. Sir, coming back to you now. So you discussed about the Gram Parivartan model, and also we discussed about how the integration of SHGs and FPOs can be done there. But we discussed business plans, we discussed the marketing, the credit facilities which the FPOs can access to. But what about the marketing aspects? Because we have seen that, you know, people, FPOs generally, SHGs generally, they struggle on this front. And we have been discussing this for quite a long time now. So in this digital arena, is this digital age, transformative age, what is your view on this?
See, I think you have rightly pointed out that marketing is one of the key elements for ensuring the sustainability of any project or any intervention. And that is going to be the biggest challenge in our Gram Parivartan project. I think we need to have a hybrid sort of model for marketing also, because all products are not identical. One type of products I can say is, sugar cane or milk. I mean, they can be marketed, they can be sold based on, say, sugar content or fat content, etc. And that is how the collection takes place, and ultimately they are processed. But if the product is, say, design based, there the consumer preference has to be taken into account. Like I'm talking about the handicrafts. There it cannot be just sold in bulk. You have to have different varieties, different models, different designs, etc. You have to be constantly in touch with the consumers to know their preferences and all. So that way the challenge becomes that much difficult also. FPOs, I mean, I have got the experience, limited experience of FPOs, whatever number we are promoting, 8, etc. I am finding that sometimes, you know, scale has got its own flip side. In the sense it becomes bureaucratic. I mean, some sort of, a few individuals take control of the FPOs, and I mean, people start, who are at the helm of affairs, they start playing favorites also. So unless we do the proper capacity building of the FPOs, all people who are members of the FPOs, they take charge of their destiny. And to that extent, we also fail in the sense that we are not doing capacity building to that extent. So FPO's model cannot be scaled up so easily, and that is where they are struggling also. That way I found that SHG is a better model in some sense, because the number is limited, and we can combine a few SHGs also. Like for example, I will give an example. We have started one SHG on sanitary pad making, which is a commonly used item in Kadapa. We have given exposure also. That has started. Now what we will do, this SHG will start selling this product to the local consumption, means other SHGs in the vicinity. And later on, if this model succeeds, we will start 19 such units in all our 19 locations under one common brand. So we have to start small. I think we just can't scale up so easily, because scaling up should be also from the point of view of sustainability. Can we sustain that? And similarly, like we have started some like buyback arrangements. We have started 2 units in Kolhapur, like 3 or 4, 5 SHGs we have combined for the garment making unit. There are SHGs, 5 SHGs have come together, and we have tied up with a buyer who is supplying the raw materials and purchasing these products at a fixed price. So 50 women are working now, and we have put the sewing machines, etc. And that is a successful model. Similarly, agarbatti making model also is going on. So, I mean, we can go for the FPOs in certain products and scale up also, but we have to provide the downstream facilities and upstream facilities. Downstream, I mean, in terms of dealership, in terms of value additions in seed processing centers, machines for, say, converting milk into products, etc. And they can have a common selling center also. We have to put the whole problem with these items are that you have to take care of the entire value chain. Unless, otherwise, the experiment will not be successful. So I think this scaling up is a huge challenge. We have to start small, and later on, as we build the capacity, then we can scale up.
I think wonderful words because I completely resonate with you because you have raised two important issues.
And one more thing, Samir,
Huh.
I think design based. For design based, actually, we had to adopt a different approach. Like for the batik, what we are doing, we have made a beautiful video and we have put on the Amazon and we have displayed our various items now. And similarly for the Moonj craft also, we have put on the Market Mirchi portal and we are displaying our products. But earlier these handicrafts items used to be sold locally. They knew the local language, local preferences and all. But now it is much beyond that. It has become not global, I'll say. I mean, it is going beyond the local regions also. So how do they connect with the outsiders, how they connect with the consumers, how they get the preferences and also, it's a hugely challenging. Production is not the issue. Production is a smaller part of the entire value chain. And we need to equip these women who are tied up with their houses that they can go to the exhibitions, sell the products, come back with the feedbacks, and again the make products and again go back or put the Amazon, etc. It's a constant struggle in that sense. So I will say, we normally say skilling. Skilling is only limited to say giving some trades. No, but farming has become highly skilled activity. We need to give modern agriculture practices and all these things. Otherwise, it will not be a viable proposition. Similarly, the handicrafts also has become a highly skilled activity and all. In terms of logistics, in terms of selling capabilities also. So not production alone, we need not concentrate on. We have to concentrate on other aspects of the selling also.
Wonderful. Because what I was telling you, sir, there are three things which you have mentioned very categorically. One is the control and the leadership of FPOs. Sometimes it has been seen that it is slaved and it has gone to few hands. That is one thing which we need to take care of. That is why I was telling you in the beginning that I will explain why I am calling FPOs as a house of cards. Number two, you have mentioned about the value chain. The complete value chain needs to be covered if we want to really do something. And of course, we have to use the digital technology more and bring forth the products which they would like to highlight. Thank you. I appreciate your views on this. Anupam, so I promise the audience that we will not talk big. We will talk small, macro, on the ground level issues. So share some interesting case study. Sorry that I opened up with you asking challenges, right? so now if you can highlight that how you have overcome those challenges and some case study, interesting case study with facts and figures for the audience to understand.
Thanks, Samir, for giving me that platform. Few things. Let me bring in the macro picture. We talk about fostering economic empowerment part of it. So I'll talk about empowerment first. And what I speak about is between our two programs, which is focusing on farmers as well as focusing on women per se. We started with microfinance. We started with traditional investments in terms of agriculture, livestock, then technology, then better practices. We talked about the linkages in the microfinance side of it. But the revolution came in with the fact that where we are right now is these women and these farmers have products of their own. They have a brand of their own. So for example, our women initiative, Sakhi, has two brands of their own. Upaya, which is in the textile business, which looks at not just the apparels, but the entire upholstery and the extreme space out there. Daichi, which is in the edible space. And they have collectively around 200 plus products that they are right now manufacturing. They have their own e-commerce space. They have their own MSME company. And they also have a marketing company of their own called Heart with Fingers. And they also came up with an element of this, the BTS logo, right? The Heart with Fingers. So if you allow them to fly, they can create all of this. Similarly with our farmers, where on the other side, we have farmer producer companies. And I have a different case study to speak about here. In this case, we realize, and of course, everybody knows that in India is a land for FPOs, and of course, more than the successes, we have a lot to learn from the failures, and why not? And I think we are one of those beneficiaries who learn from the failures of others. And what we decided was, instead of focusing on one specific crop, we look at multiple setups and also look at, as we call our FPOs as IFPOs, we started focusing on creating micro enterprises along with the FPOs. So currently we have 5 such FPOs in the state of Rajasthan, and a couple of them have already started their micro enterprises. It's been a year that we have established our micro enterprises, and I'm glad to say here that our dairy micro enterprise, which has been set up by an FPO in Udaipur, has already clocked, it's been 12 months, has already clocked 1 crore of turnover. And then there is another one which is in Chittorgarh, which is making mineral mixture, and the farmers are leading it from the front. Women are at the forefront of this across the board. They have also thus far created around 130 tons of mineral mixture in flat 8 months. And that's the kind of journey that we can talk about if you empower them in the right manner. And I appreciate the fact that you need to bring in support structures, systems, but also looking at, I know you have to give us some time, you just gave us 40 minutes. So we asked for another 10 minutes from us, right? Samir, can I just ask
time's
for that? So coming back on the fact that, how are we looking at, they have their own brand, Go Home. They have their own, as in, I'm talking about the farmers, they have their own initiatives up there. They're getting into the market, they're positioning themselves, and all they need is us to support them, and they are highly aspirational when it comes to. So when it comes to our Samadhan element, we have already have 3 plus crores of rupees as revenue turnover in the last 1 year. In the case of Sakhi, around 2.3 crores of turnover in the last 1 year. So what I'm saying is not just this as a number, yes, but and the element is with the 27,000 women that we have in our Sakhi, or with 30,000 farmer families that we have in Samadhan, what we are trying to do is just nudge them in the right direction. And believe me, with a little push and with a little support, they know where to go. And they are far more aspirational, and they are far more conservative. What we talk about ESG, it is in their blood. And they talk about all those elements of ESG. Governance, you need to support them a bit because they don't understand these languages. But on environment, on the social element of paying it forward to take everybody along, the Ubuntu element, it's all in them. All we need to do is to work along with them is what I would say. How we have overcome the challenges by creating very strong cadre on ground, Samir, and empowering them, enabling them to lead their own journeys. And for that, you need to invest. You need to invest in their leadership skills. You need to invest in their organizational skills. We are in Rajasthan and Uttarakhand, and Rajasthan needs that educational support as well. So make them go back to school, 10th and 12th, let them complete them and let them move forward. So they understand the numbers that they are revolving, around 16 plus crores of investments that they have as savings, as well as lending is around 85 crores, and they understand these numbers. All you need to do is, the second thing is to aid them with technology, to help them support and understand that technology can aid them in running their work transparently. And it all needs, as I said, some patience. Thank you.
Yeah, great numbers, and thank you for making my job easy because I don't now need to repeat what you have said. Ma'am, सॉरी, मैं माफ़ कीजिएगा, मैं जब भी किसी गवर्नमेंट अधिकारी को देखता हूँ और ख़ासकर ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, तो एक ही क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग में आता है, हाउ वी आर, आई मीन हाउ कैन वी लिवरेज, हाउ कैन वी, व्हाट आर द एग्जिस्टिंग स्कीम्स फॉर खादी विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज कमीशन which you head, which can be collaborated with the NGOs and the corporates?
So there are 2 or 3 very important schemes. One is Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana jo hai, which is a scheme in which any entrepreneur can apply for a loan, which is a totally online process, and you get about 25% subsidy in this if you are a male individual. Females get up to 35% subsidy, and you can set up any small scale unit. So for that, the district industries center which is there, they provide support. We are having our own district Khadi village industries officer who are placed in every district. Or then in the state level, as I am at the state level, we have Khadi Village Industries Board, plus we have Small Scale Industry Development Corporation, or we have Directorate of Industry. So all these organizations together, whoever is keen here can apply for that, and they can set up these small units because of the logical end. Like today, I try to support most of the SHGs who have already established themselves to get these loans where they can set up bigger units and do better, because aspirations are definitely there. And now that we have shown them the stars, they should reach out to the moon, and they have the potential. So that is one of the schemes we have. In Maharashtra, we have Chief Minister's Employment Guarantee Program, which is similar to PMEGP. Recently, Pradhan Mantri has launched Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma Yojana. This might sound very, like लोगों को लगेगा कौन सा scheme है, but this is one of the most beautiful schemes. I think those traditional crafts हैं, 12 बलूतेदार जिन्हें हम कहते थे, वंश परंपरा कहते, जो सोनार हो, लोहार हो, चप्पल बनाने वाला हो, चंबार हो, so all the trades, even a dhobi, so they are going to first of all get a card which recognizes them as an artist. Right now, today, what happens if there is a Udyog Aadhaar card, it is for an artist, whether you are doing some product which is art related, as Sir said. But for these artists who were really not recognized, so तो सोनार को कौन ऐसे recognize करता है, या लोहार को कौन recognize कर रहा है, कुंभार को कौन recognize कर रहा है. भले हम लोग कुछ पॉटरी के products लाके रख देते हैं, पर उसके लिए उसको वो उद्यम आधार कार्ड लेना पड़ता है. बट यहाँ पे एक ट्रेडिशनल आर्टिसन को रिकग्निशन मिलेगा, सर्टिफिकेशन मिलता है. आफ्टर दैट दे गोइंग टू गेट स्किलिंग फॉर 5 days. दे ऑल्सो गेट अ टूल किट ऑफ वर्थ 15,000 rupees. And after that, the bank loan, actually getting banks to loan, I was one of the persons at the receiving end initially. When I joined MSRLM, 300 crore was the loan which we got. But when I left, I'm very happy to say that banks understood कि महिलाएं कितनी capable है. जो आप कह रही थी, पहले तो इतनी मुश्किल होती थी to get a loan. I'm really happy to share that 7,000 crores I could go up to in 4 years, from 300 to 7,000. That is the kind of confidence banks also got. So I think ये जो artists भी आएंगे विश्वकर्मा योजना में, इनको भी ये support है. Who gives them 1 lakh of rupees at 5% rate of interest? It's a very beautiful scheme. I hope it reaches out to the number of people who are here, because you all are working in particular sectors. But when you go to the village, I request you to reach out to these artisans, and I think thousands of people came here. And through this, not only in Maharashtra, I would like to reach out to all over the country, wherever people is there. Madam is in Chandrapur also. So if anyone in Maharashtra wants to connect with me, all my contacts are there with Bhomik and team. And I'll be happy to, because more than 7 lakh artists are there in Maharashtra. सोनार, लोहार, कुंभार को हम लोग कभी सोच सकते हैं कि आर्टिस्ट की तरफ देखने के. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी स्कीम है. आई थिंक सभी ने इसका फ़ायदा उठाना चाहिए, जो भी इस रूम में है, रूम के बाहर हैं और जो सुन रहे हैं. सो दैट इज़ वन थिंग. And banks always, if you approach them with the correct proposal, so that is another thing I would request organizations. Where do women lack, or where do FPOs lack, where do farmers lack? They're not able to present themselves. How to make a proposal? आज की तारीख में भी सर मार्केटिंग की बात कर रहे थे, तो बल्क में सर बना नहीं पाते प्रोडक्ट, या अपने आप को प्रेजेंट नहीं कर पाते हैं. सो मार्केटिंग बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम आई फाउंड वाज बल्क. अगर मुझे आज की तारीख में 500 कीचेन्स चाहिए वारली की, 500 कीचेन्स चाहिए पेंटिंग की, अगर मुझे बोलना है भौमिक को कि आपके यहाँ आने वाले सारे को मेरे बैग्स दो, मुझे लगता नहीं भौमिक ने किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से लिया होगा, क्योंकि 2000 बनाना आज की तारीख में भी ये सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है. मैं यही रिक्वेस्ट करूँगी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में जो यहाँ आए, कि आप किसी भी स्टेट में काम कर रहे हो, वो बात नहीं है, लेकिन ये संस्था जो 50, 10, 25, 100 बना रही है, ये कब सक्षम होंगी जबकि नाइकी, एडिडास, एक्सेट्रा 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 की तरह ये भी लाखों में बनाएंगे. तो ये लिज्जत पापड़ क्यों फेमस है आज की तारीख में? क्योंकि लिज्जत पापड़ ने स्टैंडर्डाइज किया उनका पापड़, और उनका दिया हुआ पापड़ का गोला ही सारी महिलाएं बना रही है. आज की तारीख में 1800 करोड़ की कंपनी है लिज्जत पापड़. 1800 crores जो महिलाएं, 7 महिलाओं ने शुरू किया था पापड़ बनाना 80 रुपए से. 18,000 करोड़ क्यों है? क्योंकि बल्क में बन रहा है. तो माय रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल इज दिस ओनली, दैट बल्क इज द solution and the key, and the more we work together, this is possible.
Samir, one line I would add. You mentioned about making a correct proposal to the bank. Yes, that's very important. I went to one branch in Andhra Pradesh, and that manager said, we want more applications from you. I was surprised. He wants more application from us. He said, because your people are bringing the correct applications to me and helping me in recovery also. No, no, helping me in recovery. So 95% recovery was there. He said, so whatever applications come from Dalmia, we immediately sanction because it's a good proposal and you are there with us for recovery. So that's why I'm saying the complete circle has to be completed.
Correct.
माइक आते बंद हो जाता है so I'm pitching our company also because we also do a lot of microfinance loans for the joint liability groups, L&T Finance, and we have seen that it is very important not to cover a particular aspect of credit but also train them in making their business plans, write proposals which you have told. So I mean this is very important. Taking a lead from madam's question, Anagha, she talked about volume, and business is a volume game basically. And we have seen that, like particularly Ambuja, they worked in most of the states, every district. They have one SHG in one district, one FPO in another district. So is there a possibility of, instead of selling it to, outside people, how can we interlink them? So that if some SHG is producing, say, turmeric, can the other SHG in a different district process it? Or say, so all of them doesn't need to work, through the entire volume chain. So can we break it down? What's your experience?
So I feel that if we look at the entire ecosystem, we will have overlapping institutions, and that is where we'll have to have a clarity. Moreover, because it's not a philanthropic venture, it's a business proposition that we are, trying to set up. So the whole essence of business would be to make profits. So one thing that we all need to remember, whether it is SHG Federation or it is FPO, they live for profit and they should behave like a profit-making entity, which is a critical point. We have had cases wherein we have tried to facilitate the SHG Federation and the FPO to coexist and collaborate. But the important learning that we have had is each organization which is into business can deal with multiple products, but you need to have one product which is like your USP. So from that angle, I think we had, input processing which was taken up by SHGs, but the other part of the business was done by FPOs. But how long are we going to protect these organizations? I think the whole essence is in people talked about capacity building. So I think that is where we have the scope to be able to co-create and partner with other technical organizations and also private organizations. I think there is a need when we deal with agriculture produce or agri-allied businesses that we need expertise in terms of procurement, processing, logistics, which actually exist in the business domain. It's just a question of, kind of sourcing those, making best out of, having possible connects with the formal organizations, and 2 plus 2 is always more than 5. So from that angle, to be able to come together, people who are working in the same geographies to be able to co-create these kind of partnerships, I think that's the way to go. But one critical learning is unless we kind of help these organizations to independently function, the business part of it always remains very weak. So the same organization that I was talking about, from day one, we have never had a CEO of that farmer producer organization who is representative of our organization, which is the practice in most organizations. So the entire onus of the 4 people who are employed by the FPO and the CEO is to make profit out of whatever that they do and to be able to fend for themselves. So I think the whole principle comes down to doing business like business.
Correct. Yeah, thank you so much. You want to pitch?
I just wanted to say something, a very in-house example. I was mentioning to you about Sakhi and their food product Daichi. They make 4 products: pickles, masalas, pulses, as well as namkeens. So method of co-creating amongst themselves. And that is also extended to our Samadhan where they're making ghee. And what we are going to do with the ghee into the next level is to make those high-level cashew plus namkeens with ghee with them, or for that matter, where we are going to bring paneer and other pieces together in a whole element where all of that gets integrated. So I'm saying it's quite possible. It's how about how you structure it all.
Yes.
That collaboration and co-creation inside or convergence is very critical.
Very critical.
Yes.
Very critical. Thank you so much. So I have already taken time, I think. Time is up. But there is one question which I would like to take. Yeah, he's raising his hand quite some time. Yeah.
I won't take much time, but thank you everyone in the dais for such a wonderful session. I think it's a right conclusion for the entire event, to be frank, because it covers the essence of what needs to be done actually. Because in the all other sessions we talked about very...
I have had a very good experience. I don't know how they have had.
So you need to build resilience in the FPOs or SHGs, that whatever you institutions or cooperatives that you create. Market never gives you that security ever. And then we are facing it, we are first time learners of it, along with our women and our farmers, but market always throws challenges onto you. So all you need to do is diversity, link within yourself, like I said, and then one unit to the other unit, you continue to create market within yourself as well as beyond. So when I say market beyond, it is then looking at various different platforms. We have business sakhis who look at their local market requirements and they sell those products in a much more grounded packaging with lesser kind of pricing in the local market, while quality remains the same. But what goes outside in the larger market is a product which is appeasing to people, which is colorfully packaged, quality is ensured, as well as the delivery mechanism time and again is completely taken care of. And with that comes in the fact that you need to have modern trade, you need to have your regular general trade element, you need to have your own stores. So right now with Sakhis, they have 4 stores of their own, which is called Sakhi Hart. They are into modern trade. They have their own e-commerce website. So you need to diversify and don't keep your eggs or your elements in one bucket. Spread it out so that you can absorb some of the shocks. And do not start with thinking of having your own brand from the very first day. Piggyback, create your own wholesale suppliers and other entities which can, as a white good, take your product, because you need to maximize the earnings of the woman at the end and maximize the profit. Brand can come later, and that's what we did after 3 years. Brand came much later for Sakhi. For our dairy production, brand will come much later again, but we are slowly nudging into it. Now what we propose is we have created that whole marketing space for ourselves, for our Sakhis as well as Samadhan farmers and up there. Now they came back to say that like-minded organizations or entities which are being run by self-help groups or federations or any such entities, if they are making such product, why do they have to create another marketing platform and go through the same rigmarole? They are willing to absorb some of these brands onto their platform and give them that platform to sell in the larger market while they are investing into that marketing chain up there. So I think resilience does not come in from a self-help group or a federation, but it is about all of us coming together, converging together. And that's where I would like to say, I think these sessions need to culminate into some actionables. We all do the talking, we all share our best practices, but I think application is very critical and partnerships amongst ourselves is very critical. What I can do best, I'm happy to offer to you. What you do best, I'm happy to explore and see how it gets implemented into my spaces or embedded into my program. Thank you.
I just want to take this opportunity to
10
add
seconds.
that
Yeah.
what
One
Madam
line,
said is right.
one line,
The
only one line,
resilience
sure.
and what works, what doesn't work, intellect is very high at the ground level. It's all about our ability to let them loose, our ability to help them function independently. That is where I think we as a sector need to work upon. Thank you.
See, I'll give a different perspective. You must have seen the roadside hawkers. And I always wonder, I mean, Ganesh Chaturthi, they will start selling Ganesh idols. Immediately, next day, they will shift over to the full mala. I mean, and then when summer comes, again earthen pots they will start selling and all. Have you wondered, I mean, what happens to that, the leftover inventories, what do they do? And next, and they are so flexible in their pricing also, morning one price, evening another price. So people at the, I mean, the lower level, at the village level, they are very, very resilient. They have got good sense of the market and they are able to survive because there is a survival instinct also.
But there's a concerns for the governance element. Huh? If they start selling in the market in the morning with one price and end it with another price, that's a governance element issue.
So
But yes,
I
you're
have
right.
to stop in hard stop. We have been signaled. Thank you so much, all the esteemed panelists, for taking your time out. And I know this is such a vibrant topic that you need to talk more. But I hope that we have done justice for the audience as well. We have stick to the basics, and that was the idea. That we don't talk big, we talk small and basic things. So thank you once again, sir. And I will just end up by saying that, you know, why I was saying it's a house of cards, FPOs, because if we will not build it properly, if we will not nurture it, no, it will fall down immediately, crack. So that's the point which I just wanted to make. Yes. Yes. So thank you so much for the session today, and thank you, everyone.